Are you sick and tired of having EDERSON in your team, or maybe you've come down with a bit of a benching headache? Here are my final thoughts going into Game Week 35. What you didn't see is that I recorded this entire video realising I was on mute. Here we go anyway with EDERSON. So yeah, I want to start this by giving a little bit of comfort to people that have had him. I feel like over the last few game weeks, if you cast your mind back to about game week 32, 33, when people would have considered bringing him into their team, I think he was a great pick. To be honest, I was scared of not owning him. I just couldn't justify taking a hit for him, which I would have had to have done to bring him into my team. And yeah, I spent these last few game weeks genuinely being a bit scared of him. Just like, if you're an owner, I want to give you the comfort that I think you've been unlucky that he's not scored the points for you. The question is, of course, do you sell him this game week? And I've got to say, I think you do. Ortega came in for the West Ham game and he kept a clean sheet. And, if I was Pep Guardiola, what justification do I have at the moment to bring EDERSON back into my team? I feel like Ortega, he's not, you can't call him the first choice goalkeeper for Man City, but I think he's going to keep the spot in the team, at least until, something awry happens with him. And then just a general point about EDERSON, if he does play, he barely makes a save a game, like 1.3 saves per 90. He's never getting you saves bonus points. He's got 10 clean sheets in the 30 games he's played this season. He doesn't get many clean sheets either. So, where are the points coming from as a goalkeeper at the moment? I just don't see them. And yeah, for me, the best goalkeepers in FPL usually are a bit cheaper than he is, around the 4.5 million price point. They make saves bonus pretty much every game, and they only need to keep an average number of clean sheets to, outscore someone like EDERSON, especially this season. He's kept, 10 clean sheets in 30 games, albeit I think he might have been given a few penalty saves points. But yeah, just in general, I don't think he's a great option for obvious reasons. And I think, to be honest, if you own him, you should use your transfer this week to sell him. Now, if you've been watching my videos this week, you'll probably think I have a weird obsession with David De Gea, but genuinely, I think he's probably the best goalkeeper pick going forward for the rest of the season. I was a little bit worried about him, I must say, and it's the reason that I didn't have him in my team. But without Varane and Martinez in that United defence, I was really worried about how they would do, particularly being a Man United fan myself. But Shaw and Lindelof have been playing really well together and making a pretty good centre-back partnership. Lindelof had a lot of disrespect from United fans in previous seasons, but to be honest, I think when you put a decent centre-back, or Shaw at least, who I think is better at centre-back than Maguire is, when you put the two together, I think they make a really good partnership. And just in general, as we know, Man United have kept the most clean sheets of all Premier League teams this season. I'm recording this ahead of the Brighton-Man United game in 34, so it's Thursday evening before that game kicks off, and they've got 15 clean sheets so far. I fully expect them, to be honest, to keep a 16th against Brighton. Seeing how the FA Cup semi-final went, it was a very cagey game. Both teams sort of cancelled each other out. I think that could happen again in game week 34, and that will mean another clean sheet for David De Gea. And just in general as well, talking about saves bonus, he averages 2 saves per game, so I feel like in the fixtures where he doesn't keep a clean sheet, he could well get you saves bonus. And looking at the fixtures as well, I think they're fantastic. Nice double in 37. The Chelsea game in there, in previous seasons you might be put off by that, and it's obviously the one that he's got the lowest expected points in, but I think Man United v Chelsea is the most nil-nilled fixture in Premier League history. You can quote me on that if I'm wrong, but I genuinely think that to be the case. It might be the reverse one at Stamford Bridge, to be fair, but I just don't see a way that Chelsea, I don't see a way that Chelsea score against Man United in that one. So for me, I think he's got a really good chance of a number of clean sheets across the remainder of the season and a bit of saves bonus as well. So for that reason, I think David De Gea is my number one target. And if you've already tripled up on Man United, I think you should consider looking at Nick Pope too. All right then, so it's pretty impossible to tailor this section to cover everyone's team basically. So what I've done is I've picked the players that are in my team, and I'm going to talk about how I'm going to decide whether to bench them. And then within this, I'm going to chuck in players that other people might own as well. So a lot of us are going to be doubled up on Brighton midfield. You're going to have Ollie Watkins, and you may have Isak or another striker who you might, be considering starting. So starting off with Solly March and Matoma, I think looking at that Everton fixture that Brighton have, I think they're fantastic options. And just looking at how Everton have been defending, with someone like Michael Keane in defence, I've just got a feeling that it goes similarly to how the Brighton Wolves game went. I just don't see a way that, Brighton don't score multiple goals in that game. And for that reason, I think you're hard-pressed not to be starting your Brighton midfielders. I think the only one I'd maybe consider not starting is McAllister, because you're a bit unsure as to the position he's going to play. Whereas March and Mitoma, you got to think they're going to play the game. First of all, they're going to start. And second of all, you know what their roles are. March is, an attacking right winger, and Mitoma's comfortably got that spot nailed on the left. Both of them have a lot of attacking responsibility and can get forward and get goals, whereas McAllister can obviously play in that number 10 spot where he's absolutely lethal, but there's a big chance, I reckon, against Everton that he plays a bit deeper. And for that reason, I think if I have McAllister, I might be benching him for one of the two guys on the right, whereas March and Mitoma, I think, start over both Isaac and Watkins. As for Isak, I think of these four, he's the one I'm going to have to bench this game week. I just feel like Ollie Watkins is a better option. Wolves away is a great fixture for Villa, and I feel like after the 1-0 loss to Man United, everyone's sort of stopped talking about Watkins, but I think he's a fantastic option. And he's also, the important thing about Watkins is that he's just absolutely nailed in that Villa team. He's a 90-minute man, and he takes the penalties. Whereas Isak, I'm not sure you can say any of those statements about him, particularly about penalties when Wilson's on the pitch. I don't think we know who takes the penalties when both Isak and Wilson are on the pitch. I think that's a bit of a dubious one. You let me know in the comments if there's something confirmed on that. So yeah, for me, I think I'm going to be playing March, Mitoma and Watkins, and Isak is going to be on my bench. Let me know if you've got a benching headache below and if that helps you at all. Alright, that's the end of the video. I hope you found it useful. Just a quick summary of my final thoughts going into the game week. And if you don't have Ederson and you don't have a benching headache, then maybe this video wasn't for you, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Let me know so by commenting below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the Goal and Gold channel if you want to see more content in the future. I'll see you in the next one.